Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today we'll be talking about Colston Loveland out of Michigan. So I'm excited to dive into it. Before I do, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Also, be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogen, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Kick. In addition to that, just want to let you guys know that you can go and check out some Rams interviews over on my other channel, The Lounge. And every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, you can tune in with my friends over at NFC West Roundtable. We are building something special. So if you don't check that out every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, well, give it a try this upcoming Tuesday. Anyway, let's get into it. So Colston Loveland, two-year starter at Michigan, started 5 games before those 2 years as a starter, was utilized on special teams, a good special teamer. Listed at 6'6", 248 pounds. He's 20 years old currently. He'll be 21 in April, so very soon. Really, really young. This is the third overall PFF tight end and third overall PFF receiving tight end. So Colston Loveland is a player that many Rams fans right now are mocking in their mock drafts, okay? This is a guy that they really want. I think we need to answer a few questions first. Is he worth a first-round pick? Will he make it to the 26th pick? Will the Rams even be there at 26, or will they trade down? And do the Rams covet another tight end that much? Because they did bring back, and this is important, they did bring back Colby Parkinson, at least for the moment. We'll see. And obviously, Tyler Higbee is going to be their number one. So what are you getting? What do you get when you bring Colston Loveland into your football program? Well, he's a very good athlete. He jumps right off the screen right away. Smooth mover without or with the football. And I think that's a big deal. You like to see that. The tight end position over the course of time has gotten more athletic, less about just, oh, he's a basketball player that we turned into a tight end. And now it's just like, yeah, these elite athletes want to be tight ends now because they want to catch touchdowns. They can't play on the outside necessarily as a receiver, so they want to catch touchdowns and they want to, punch people. They want to block. He's got a giant catch radius. Giant, okay? He's got crazy long arms, hands, all that. Some really strong hands at the catch point to hang on to any pass that, he's able to get himself on. But he's got natural hands, doesn't look to absorb any ball being thrown into his body. No body trapping or anything like that. That is a huge red flag for me. As soon as I start to see a player that is so comfortable letting the ball just slip right into their chest, I get a little concerned about the long-term implications of that. You develop habits, bad habits, and that doesn't always go away. So that's a big thing Loveland does not have, and that's the thing that I like. He's really precise as a route runner, uses very good pacing in his routes. He's not just a one-speed mover. He's not just a one-speed player. His sideline awareness to keep his feet in bounds. He makes the big play downfield when needed. Can kind of contort his body, which is great. He's a high-effort player, whether he's good at something or not. And his work off the line of scrimmage is impressive. On film, you could see he's able to beat press, doesn't allow his defensive backs to, really redirect him too much. He's in control of his route. And God forbid he does get redirected, he's able to continue to run the route, or at least, to the closest that he can. He's a willing blocker. That doesn't mean he's a great blocker. So we're going to get into that. So here are the cons, okay? Because I don't want to just sit here and say those pros aren't big deals. I mean, those are good things to be good at. He's a very, very good receiving tight end, but he's got some cons. And here's what we're going to talk about. My biggest issue with Loveland is that you're getting a 6'6", 248-pound tight end, but he doesn't have the play strength that you would expect at that size. And to be a tight end drafted in the first round, you kind of want to see more, right? He can be seen brought down fairly easily on arm tackles. Doesn't generate enough missed tackles for my liking. I understand that might seem a little picky, but I watched Harold Fannin Jr., who constantly gets ripped because he's not, super fast or anything like that. But he just produced, and he made a lot of guys miss, about the same age. They're both going to be 21, before the season starts. And He made a bunch of guys miss, 32 to be exact, so far ahead of everyone else in the country. Not saying this always translates to immediate NFL success, but Colston Loveland did not even have double digits. So that is a concern of mine, and it shows up on tape where you want to see more. He catches the ball, it's great. But this is a Sean McVay offense that when he has the tight end that he feels confident in and comfortable with, he is going to have those quick screens. And those quick screens, everyone's going to do their job in all likelihood. There's going to be a successful convoy of blockers. But when Colston Loveland has that, he's going to be expected to get the first down and more. And I feel like he leaves a lot of yards on the field because he can get tripped up pretty easily. He can get, tackled with one arm. And there's already a lot of that on this roster. Okay. First year, Davis Allen made guys miss. I believe he led the team in missed tackles forced. But this past year, he was dealing with, a back issue. Colby Parkinson wasn't really making anybody miss either. Tyler Higbee ends up leading the team, and he only played 3 regular season games. So that's my point, is that the Rams, maybe it's me being picky, but I feel like the thing that they're missing is that beautiful pass that, Matthew Stafford leads the tight end with. It's that bootleg, into the flat, what have you. You want to see that bootleg turn into something. When you throw to a tight end, I've said this now multiple times in this channel, you're not just throwing to another guy to look pretty. You're not just throwing to another guy to make it look fun and different. You're throwing to a tight end because he offers a little bit something else than a wide receiver typically would. So breaking tackles, yards after the catch, that is to be expected, especially if I'm going to spend a first-round pick on that said player. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think one thing that's really concerning for me is when you saw this at Michigan, quarterback play goes down the moment J.J. McCarthy leaves this organization, or rather this program for the NFL, and you start to see that quarterback play go down, but now it's up to Loveland, whether it's fair or not. It's up to Loveland to fight back to the football. If it's an underthrown ball, I can't just have you sit there and be like, he underthrew it. It's going to be picked either way. I need you to fight back. And he does fight back. He's just not nearly aggressive enough. Okay, I'm not saying, he would be able to win all of those, but he only won 2 out of 10 contested catch opportunities this year. He's a 20% contested catch, guy. No tight end in the league was, had more interceptions thrown when targeted in the entire country. Now, what do I mean by interceptions thrown when targeted? I mean, when a quarterback was targeting him, they threw an interception. That quarterback threw an interception more at Colston Loveland than any other quarterback to any other tight end. So no other tight end generated more interceptions. Is that fair to blame the entire interception on him? Absolutely not. But the point is, when you lead the league in that, and yes, quarterback play is bad, but it's bad all across. There are a lot of different tight ends that have bad quarterback play. That is a concern of mine. He doesn't have many moves. Once he gets the ball in his hand, he's really just kind of tread up field. Doesn't really, make guys, as I already said, doesn't make guys miss, but doesn't really have that, kind of elusiveness that you'd like to see. He really, in my opinion, gets eaten alive against bigger blockers. So when he's going up against a guy, bigger blocking scenarios, he has moments where that play strength just is not there, and he could be shoved just completely off the line of scrimmage, off the ball. He's not an inline blocker. It's really that simple. But is that okay? It really depends on who you talk to. There are going to be old school teams that have this mindset like, look, I'm not drafting a tight end in the first round hardly ever, but I'm definitely not drafting one that can't play inline, and I have to use him. I have to essentially use a wide receiver spot for him. So that's something to keep in mind. The versatility is lacking. He's rarely going to be that inline guy, but he can work in the slot. He can play on the outside, but he's not a true inside-outside tight end, which you want. He's really a guy that is a big wide receiver. He's got great, length and all that, but that still matters. So, again, the contested catch thing, when I'm going out and getting a 6'6", 248-pound tight end who you can't really block, he can't really break tackles, and he can't go up and high point the football and win those contested catch opportunities. you start to see why I'm a little skeptical about him. So my comparison for Colston Loveland, it's very simple. I think he's a more refined version of O.J. Howard, okay? O.J. Howard came out in the 2017 draft class at Alabama. He had incredible, absolutely incredible testing, and you saw it on tape. Incredible athlete. And this is a guy that I thought could be really special. The measurables, as far as his hand size, which was gaudy, and his arm length and all of that, since, we don't have everything on Loveland. We don't have his 40 time or anything like that. His measurables are very similar to O.J. Howard. Now, Howard was a crazy athlete that just simply could not block, okay? He had the weight, needed more muscle. Loveland is more of a willing blocker. He still has this issue. He's still going to need to, improve. He's going to have to get an NFL tight end body, right? 6'6", 248 pounds. We're not seeing that at the NFL level. So he has plenty of time. He's only 21 in April. Plenty of time to get with a team, get with a workout program. And if he wants to add 10 pounds of muscle, great. But he really just needs to refine his body. He needs to turn it into an NFL body. That is something that O.J. Howard just never was able to do. He never had that's the thing. Loveland actually has decent technique as a blocker. He just doesn't have the play strength. O.J. Howard didn't have good technique. So that's the thing where I feel like Loveland is a better prospect than Howard. He's just a more refined O.J. Howard. Both were more like wide receivers than tight ends. Howard was a better overall contested catch guy. To me, that is something that matters. He was more of a, aggressive, back to the football type of guy, break tackles type of guy. Loveland doesn't play with that level of aggression. He doesn't play with that ability to make those contested catches like an O.J. Howard. So that is worth mentioning. But Howard didn't have the attention to detail or the fine nuance that Loveland has in his route running. So in conclusion, because I know everybody wanted this video. I know there are a lot of Rams fans that are obsessed with him. I think he's a good prospect. I have a second-round grade on him. I like Loveland. And I think that the Rams, especially Sean McVay, would definitely be able to get the most out of him. And you look at, Matthew Stafford throwing to a 6'6", long wide receiver, tight end hybrid. And if they could develop him as a blocker, yeah, I feel pretty good about that. But that said, I think I'd rather trade down personally. But regardless, I don't know if I want to take a tight end at 26 who has this many concerns. See, George Kittle, who was an incredible athlete, absolutely tested out of the realm of nothing we've ever seen. Kittle was my top tight end in 2017. Everyone knows this. I love George Kittle. And George Kittle went in the 5th round, despite the fact that he blocked like he was Michael Oher in The Blind Side. Despite the fact that he was an elite athlete, he had elite size, all the measurables, he didn't have the production in college because C.J. Beathard, who was drafted 2 rounds ahead of him by the same 49er team, held him back, never utilized him. Loveland wasn't held back. He has production, but this is what I'm talking about. There's always somebody. I'm not saying there's a George Kittle in this draft. But there's always somebody in a draft where, one team's drafting a tight end who has some serious red flags at 26, and there's a tight end that's sitting there in the 3rd or 4th round that could be one of the best tight ends in the game, and you just got him in the 3rd or 4th round. I'm just saying. So, do I think he's a fit for the Rams? Absolutely. I think he would certainly work in their offense. If they committed to 12 personnel more over 11, I think it's a perfect fit because they've already established Tyler Higbee as your number 1 tight end. He's the all-around, can-do-it-all type of guy. You got Parkinson still, although if you added Loveland, I think Parkinson gets traded. That's just my opinion. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. He's still so young. He's 21 years old. He has a good athletic profile, a really good work ethic. He can definitely improve upon some of the things that he struggles with. So that's another thing. His quarterback play, as I mentioned, did hurt him, and yet he still produced. So I think he could have immediate success with Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. But again, I see him more as a second-round talent. I think he has a lot of things that I like, but a tight end that can't block better than any of the receivers currently on the roster, or make guys miss better than any of the tight ends on the roster that struggle to make guys miss in space, that's my reservation. It's not to say I'm against drafting him. It's to say I'm against drafting him at 26 overall. I keep seeing people bring up Bowers and Kincaid as a reason. And albeit this is a big reason why I was saying Mayer, who, by the way, I would rather trade for Michael Mayer, give up a 4th rounder, than spend a 1st on Loveland. But anyway, that's not the point. The point here is that the body composition is different. See, when you're talking about Bowers and Kincaid, these are undersized tight ends that don't really have a choice but to play in the slot, to play out wide, right? Maybe they'll figure out their inline game eventually, but they don't have the benefit of 6'6", crazy long arms that give you some really good leverage in blocking, and they don't have that benefit. They're not as big, they're not as tall, and Loveland does have that. So the thing here is that at 6'6", nearly 250 pounds, I expect when I draft a guy in the 1st round, I am getting that. If he's a tight end, I am getting a franchise inline tight end, and I'm just not sure about that with Loveland. So will I be against the Rams if they decide to take him at 26? No, because I think if the Rams have that luxury, you do it. If you think that he's going to work in your offense, you do it. I have no issue if they believe that it is worth taking. They've already taken all the calculated risk. They've already, figured everything out. No, I think that the Rams have the luxury to take anybody at 26, except I would absolutely be against any quarterback, because drafting a quarterback 3 in a year that you're trying to win a Super Bowl in the 1st round is just a awful optic, and it just looks absolutely insane. Sends a bad message, too, for the guys that took pay cuts. Anyway, Loveland would definitely make the Rams a better football team. That said, if I were to take Loveland at 26 overall, no trade down, or I get to trade down, acquire an additional day 2 pick, and take Jack Besh, who is a tight end convert, who played at LSU, transferred to TCU, who is a better blocker, makes more contested catches and guys miss in space than Loveland, I would take Besh and another day 2 pick in a deep draft over spending a 1st on Colston Loveland. And that is how I can explain it the best way I possibly can. Loveland is a good prospect, but he's not an elite prospect. And drafting him at 26th overall, or God forbid even trading up for him, is just a gross miscalculation on what you do in a draft. Like, I just don't think that positional value is there. Especially, like, you want to talk about Tyler Warren. I don't even know if I would take Tyler Warren in the top 10 or the top 15 because he's a tight end. But that said, Tyler Warren does everything. He blocks. He runs routes. He can go up and high point the football, make the big time contested catch, be a red zone threat, right? Makes guys miss. I think he was 2nd in the league in it, only behind Fannin. I get that. That I get. But sorry, it's going to take me a little bit longer to understand, a guy that can't make guys miss, a guy that can't go up and high point the football, a guy that cannot really block. And when I say he can't block, I'm saying he's an okay blocker at the college level. That translates to being a below average blocker at the NFL level. And it's very simple, not to dog on Michigan, but just look at Blake Corum. Corum was a great pass protector, probably a good pass protector in college. That makes him an average pass protector in the NFL. Guys are stronger, guys are faster, guys are smarter. It's not as simple. Not everything translates over at the same peak. So those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below. I do like Loveland, so I don't want to hear that I hate this guy or I'm anti-Michigan because I think J.J. McCarthy is going to be a stud, so definitely don't think I'm anti-Michigan. But I just think that there are better options here. And I think the best option for the Rams, to be honest with you, is to trade down and get another pick in a draft that we've already heard from actual experts of this draft. They've said, like, look, picking a guy at 20 is like picking a guy at 60 this year. Like, you're getting kind of the same player, maybe has a little bit of... See, that's not a draft that I'm dying to pick in the first round in. But those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comments section below what you think about Loveland. Did I change your opinion on him, good or bad? Do you like him now more? Do you like him now less? Do you love him? Am I wrong about him? Is there a tight end that maybe I'm sleeping on? Let me know. But that's going to do it. Be sure to check out the rest of my content on the channel. Like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you guys soon. All right, guys. So once again, just want to let you guys know that you can check out my new side project, The Lounge. I interview athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, all the nine. So definitely check it out over on the Lounge with Jake Ellenbogen channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy. In case you guys haven't noticed, I do have a Discord channel for my community on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, it is free. The link is in the description below. You can sign up. This is basically a 24/7 Rams channel, and we are almost at 1,100 members. So if you want to be a part of it, just hit the link in the description below.